bitch said she love me, but I'm a heartbreaker. Run around in a rave, I'm a stargazer. Mama said don't worry, boy, you a star player. My fist to protect you, please don't get too far, baby. I'm smoking a dope, said I've been on Mars lately. I'm looking for, but I can't find my heart, baby. Trying to feel these scars up in my heart, I'm smoking daily. Tell my mama I carry all these stresses for my safety.
I ain't alright, like we just fine. All my homeboys say you different, and my mom say you a dime, don't waste my time. And don't be frontin' telling lies. Don't go tell the next nigga that those is bruises on your thighs. Cause they hickeys and deep down I know you miss me, rolling sticky while I'm riding through the city, But don't take me cause I'm really feeling empty, and I ain't afraid to catch your body, nigga, I got plenty, I be inside of you, don't nobody get you wetter, and if you had to choose, don't nobody love you better, I don't got shit to lose, so bitch know that I'ma shootin' on my niggas too, if I hopped in on my niggas too. Yeah, I'll ride for you, but it's gon' ride for me, little baby, I'd die for you, but it's gon' die for me, little baby, don't get me attitude, I don't got time for games, little baby, all this trauma in my head, I'm going crazy,
My bitch said she love me, but I'm a heartbreaker. Run around in a rave, I'm a stargazer. Mama said don't worry, boy, you a star player. My fist to protect you, please don't get too far, baby. I'm smoking a dope, said I've been on Mars lately. I'm looking for, but I can't find my heart, baby. Trying to feel these scars up in my heart, I'm smoking daily.
Yellow. Shut the fuck up, religion. We're back onto bullying religion. Also, we're back to the fucking story quest. Hello, I'm here to see my lesbian daughter. Oh, I can read. I don't want it, but give me the book. Rating. The vast majority of the contents note. What the fuck? Oh, so this is just Fontaine shit. Good to know. Good to see. Good to view it. Hello, I'm here. We're here to see Jet. Is she Iran? Is my lesbian daughter here? Why are you looking at? We're her friend. Friends? Friends? Oh. She mentioned you before. I think something about a great, reliable young woman. She's hanging outside for too long. I see you make friends with rich people in fancy clothing and such. Hey, what is that supposed to mean? Sorry for speaking so rudely. I care. But I care little for seeing outsiders. You should be... About Jet. She's a good kid. So... What do you mean, so she's a good kid? I don't want to see her come under bad influence of outsiders, like I said before. Need anything, seek out. Jabal, don't bother me. I have nothing much to say to you. Why don't you go and find? He's a strange old man. You a bitch. Let's not have that stop working right now. That would be fan-fucking-tastic. There we go. Wrong button. Shit. There we go. Fuck you, I see shiny shit. Read. Something can be drawn casually from the Akasha and said the desert dwellers use more compassion and education during their long walks across the sand. You know that the bottom of the title pages in Belgium belong to the academic library. They've been smuggled. We smuggling books out of a library? Count my ass. Wait, he has a name. It's Ben! My friend! I was like, why is it named? I'm so sorry. You get to hear story spoilers. You notice at the bottom of the title page in Belgium belonging to the academic. Was that the one I just read? It's my boy. Why can't I see you, bitch? Why can't I see my boy? Where are we going? We're going down here. Wait! Hello! Also, yes, I know Lanterite has started. We'll do that after this. Read. Hilarious. It's 100 painful jokes. Who the fuck stole this? 100 painful jokes. Who let Sino steal from the library? Damn it. Hey, good sir. Hello, Ren, I presume yes. Let me guess. You're here to find someone, your friend, yes. Yes, but Jet's a good girl. I'm glad she has a friend like you. Thanks. Anyways, if you don't mind a little advice, you look like a real killer. But compassionate. Those who will prove to undoing your fatal weakness. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Then consider my words just a breeze in your ear. It's not... Okay. Okay, thanks. Oh, cool. They're not gonna try to fucking eat me.
품질은 나쁘지 않군.
I'll take a good artifact to you. Crocodile jerky. What? Okay. Hello, stranger. What do you need? I'm Jet's friend. You're good folk. You're looking for a Jet? She's still up. Please go meet. She's a good... And she made friends, is very happy, and talks little. Getting busy up there. Has returned. Okay, you should probably meet her. Don't keep her waiting for too long. Why does everyone keep saying the same thing? Oh. Mommy? Hello. But I don't know what those... it's not my fault. Please let me say Metrobel. Oh! Mommy! Please, please give me one more chance, my lady. I will prove my loyalty to Bennett. Please believe me. I will gladly offer my life. Silence. She who knocked your teeth out can remove your tongue. Can also remove your tongue. No, please don't. Don't understand. If you're willing to give me a life for this head. Another thing. You addressed me as... How did you address me? I do not speak the language of the Snowlands. I do not care for the... something as my lady here. Fuck. Lately, what you thinking? I'm not your family anymore, but some lady. Your tongue is tainted with outsider poison. Your mind stained by the gods. You cannot remain. Lead him away. He was once... You know what to do. Oh. I'm gonna have to fight her, aren't I? Remember the enemy with the pink hair? Remember the enemy with the pink hair? Yeah, she's in the quest. Which is why Brain actually went to Mommy.
Neuron activated.
After all, the crowd begins to disperse, making room for you to see. What just happened? Whatever it was sounds scary. I hate to be on her bad side. Hi. My apologies, children. Still distracted. I forgot you were there. Terribly sorry you had to see that. I'm at fault. As the however the fuck you say that up to 10, I'd like to make amends. Teeth and tongue stuff, after all. Meeting out a punishment against a traitor. All the same. Sorry if I haven't given you a terrible first impression. The city has its law and the tribe has its rule. Please do not pay it much mind. You two, Red and Paimon. Yes, Jet to talk to you about. We were looking for her. That doesn't seem like a good time, though. No need to be polite. I should say that you have impeccable timing. Invitation. It was I who we got stuff time hunting ground. Not saying this, I invited you here to help Jeff with some unfinished business. Hunting grounds? Don't worry. We're not trying to hunt you. You're honorary guest here as long as you remember your guest. Oh my god. This still isn't very reassuring. They should have fucking made this voice. Let me spoil the fun for you folks. Looks like Jets is here. Ah, yes, my lesbian daughter. I have a 10. How'd it go with that fella? Made sure he was giving certificate to... That's good. But do not be proud of this deed, child. It's a tragic affair. I understand. Oh my god. Alright, it's not a good day to preach. Your friends have been waiting for you finally arrive, so set your chairs aside and greet them. What do you... Hi! Long time no see. I'm here to see you. I'm not doing a fucking Paimon voice. I will strangle myself before I do that. Ren and Paimon too! Ren and Paimon too! You really did come! Hi! I shouldn't have gotten mad about everything. Now, come. I'm happy to see you all together. Whatever it is or want to see, I already approved it. You can put your doubts to rest. Words of caution over. The road ahead of you will be fought with danger and intrigue, so be on your guard and stay safe. Understood. Now, if you excuse me, I have a tribal affair to attend to. I'll leave you along this hatchet. She is so fine, and I'm terrified to fight her. You changed a lot since last we saw you. Got a good eye, haven't you, Paimon? So what's different about me? You look a little more tanned. Mouthy as always. My god. Paimon really said, you look tanner. The fuck do you expect? You matured. Is that so? I thought you were gonna make fun of me or something. Nah, you're my lesbian daughter. I can't do that. Ren's right. You look like you really come to your own. Really? I learned a lot about survival skills here, so it's been busy keeping myself alive, you know? You, could carry me out to say it. I've been helping her out with a lot of things. I'm grateful she is a member of the tribe. What's that? Hardly, not to mention has passed since I haven't thought of you. Let me read that again! Not a moment's passed since I haven't thought about you. She doesn't say this with Aether! Welcome to, that's a little bit fruity, Mahoyoverse. She doesn't say this with Aether. She says something else. Whoa, hang on a minute. Did you learn to say all that? Oh, I thought I would get you to blush.
Bro.
There is not a single straight thing about that. I'm kidding. All the boys in tribe like to talking nonsense like this. It's annoying. They can't beat me anyways. No, that's some fruity shit. I don't care. I grabbed the wrong thing. Put it on the table. Yeah, okay. 1 second. That was too fruity.
What? Tears.
You can craft them.
The crystals put out the flowers.
Oh yeah, have fun with that. Now you know how I feel, Scaramouche.
내가 언제부터 이렇게 한가해진 거지?
A motherfucker is going to have to. I missed like part of that. What? I went to go get something. Welcome to the life of a bunch of Genshin players. We all suffer. Fuck. We're all suffering. We also finally got hydrogen peroxide. You know, the right thing I was supposed to get.
황야의 고독한 영혼, 날 해칠 생각은 버려.
Shush, I'm doing something, Shao. Just because you are now the highest constellation character that I actually wanted. Fuck Mona and her C6 bullshit. It does not mean I will not tell you to shut the fuck up. There's no hydrogen peroxide on my leg. Hydrogen peroxide spilled off of this. Because I'm pretty sure that's blood on the back of my shoe. Hopefully. I got a blister when I was walking because my sock slipped. So I'm assuming that's what it is. Hopefully, we'll see. Alright. Where are we going? We going lower? Perfect. I already did that. I fucking hate the smell of... I'm here. I brought my friend Ren and Paimon. I hate the smell of hydrogen peroxide. Finish your business. Yep, And that's why I thought I'd come here to help you up and brought my friend along too to boot. Thank you, Jet. You remember I have something you need to help with. Loose lips, sink ships. Meat is fresh, take it. Oh my god, I'm feeding crocodiles. Feeding crocodiles is purely you drop the fish and they follow the scent and they eat it itself. By the way, seems pretty fearsome. Happened to so? Well, it's nothing. We were just dealing with the trader. I tracked him through the desert for half a month before bringing him back alive. He was crafty and fierce to the boot. I had to knock some of his teeth out to deduce him. My hand still hurts. Damn. Wow, that sounds scary. So be careful what you say around me in the future, eh, Paimon? Oh. Watch your teeth, Paimon. Again, this should have been voice acted. Do you want how happy I would have heard Jet to tell Paimon to basically watch your fucking mouth? Don't be serious. We're all friends here. I'm just kidding. So the okay. So the desert's one won't fucking try to attack me. That's fun. You're taking serious around here. Everyone seems to respect you. Well, here's the thing. Because of my previous experience with adventurers, I'm more perceptive, so decided that I would do my job to track down outsiders and punish and traitors to the tribe. It's work to do. Since I wasn't born among the tenant, it's okay for me to deal with criminals in more aggressive ways. Although I don't really care, I'm not sure if it's special pigment is proof of our engagement. Well, I wasn't born here after all. The home. In Tanit tribe isn't a home I can immediately familiar. I can only try my best to do everything well as long as I can put some roots down. Finally found a home. Don't laugh. No, but I'm glad to see you here. Alright, I think they've eaten their fill. Let's go. Going on a trip. I don't trust this place. I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting bad vibes. You have finished, Jet. Yeah, I'm gonna wash now. Your crocodile food stinks. Smell of raw meat. Does that or trader blood smell worse? Hey, not funny. Thank you. By the way, there's one more thing I want to ask of you. It's the cursed crocodile meat that I promised to give previously. Pass it to him for me, would you? Sure. I'll give you crocodile meat to... Problem. Hey, that's uncalled for. Smell you later. I love her. Here. Oh, show you new. Oh, so you're here to show off your new Outlighter friend? Sort of. By the way, here's crocodile jerky. I want to punch him in the face. Ah, thanks. You're so considerate. That felt condescending. No worries. By the way, about Ben, can you still fix it? Don't worry, it's nothing serious. It can get back to in a couple of days. Yes! Our boy can be brought. Oh, okay, then I'll get going. My boy can be returned to us. Stay safe. Why can't she become a playable character? Where? Got toy, new clothes and cosmetics. Oh, do you wear makeup? What do you mean by that? Lapis Lazuli eyeshadow is an extensive sunscreen fresh stellate photo. We use it concealer to hide scars. That's actually interesting. Hey, yo. In the name of the tour of the friendship between the Queen of the Garden and Queen of the Rainforest, Matcha Ball were and others. Holy shit! The Kasha no longer seems popular in the city. It seems that some change in the upper management has occurred. Rumors are rift that Sir, the Grand Sage has been disposed, and it's mostly known that Bazir Regent who clung to his tailcoats of those whose lackey have lost their exclusive fantastic privileges. That is city may improve in the future. Many books have been banned on them reciting, but a small majority of Summerald text still requires one to jump through some special hoops to obtain. For us, Tencent, this is good news. We no longer need to resort to smuggling to obtain knowledge. As for the aid plan at the Material... Oh shit! She has been quite concerned about. It seems that the General Maharaja Sino, who has a big role in playing a recent event, will be in charge of it. But most of those books were provided for free, have to do with basic educations, are limited use to us. Considering that we in the city folks have been at odds for many years, there's reason to suspect that their motives for sending research to us. They're snooping the city dwellers are likely no different than the yesteryears. Just looking for to disrupt our lives and make profits for themselves. And if they should show any interest in the ruin of an eternal oasis, this can only bring harm to our tribe. As such, Matrabal, I urge you to give thoughts to the inner, in which we will deal with it in a lease in turn from the academia. Independent or united in our tribes, our sister tribes, and our ability to exempt from eternal first stake here. The fuck is happening? I'm just gonna be nosy. I keep Nah, this has actually been a joke. I keep accidentally finding lore that I should not be finding. This happened yesterday. Wake up, sweat. Are you always this busy? It's fine. I don't like being ideal, actually. Nah, because I found something I wasn't supposed to find yesterday that involved her dad. Mason agreed to let me bring my dad, my father's remained, and those of my mother to an eternal oasis. Oh, that's a real place? Time I thought it was just a myth. It's a real place. We have to see it after this. Spoiler alert. Well, the last time we parted, I was so lost, I honestly didn't know where to start looking. Lives in the middle of this desert. The tribe holds never-ending sandstorm in the heart, sealed off as a taboo place, and no one can approach it except taboo. Is it dangerous or something? Yes, some elder folks believe that an ancient spirit roams there, hungry for soul and flesh. Her only account of afraid of nothing attitude of mine, and that Matrabal. Balal. And it might be because I'm half outsider, so I'm able to forego. Oh my god. Basically, I can bypass the tattoo with the elders and spoil the eternal oasis. Perfect! She's gonna die, isn't she? And I'm gonna lose my shit. Cherish your mind and secure the future of the. These secrets can be severed. I'll give them to tribe a new lesson on life. I swear to God. Not this is my duty and honor, but I keep thinking I've been getting. Oh my god, I hate how this is not voice acted. Please. The most trusted friend and the closest thing I have to family right now. That's why I want to ask you to join on this wayward little trip of mine. Oh, hey. Jet, you can rest easy, of course. We didn't come all this way just to leave. Knew you would say that. Don't go unreserved. Fragment thing. It's. Oh my god. Let's. Alright, then we're off. Many things I want to say. Anyway, okay, 33 more times, I'll take it. There's a simple enough to lane apart from the. Give me that. I'll take the free music. I just stole her sweet flower. Why the fuck was there a sweet flower here? Hold up. Also, why is there a list of names? Why do I keep finding lore? I have all the teleports except for two, or except for like technically two. Of fucking course there's shit here. Cause why would there not be? It's so pretty. Go to the temple gates. Wow, these runes are huge. Nope, not doing a Paimon voice. Ta-da! These then are the city's ruins. I read some of these old theses that you can... Oh my god, we're once again digging... We're back to finding a dead person. That's what the book says. So those first built this place must have believed their work will last forever. I will fucking kill this thing if I need to. Oh, also, apparently I have bullshit luck when it comes to me roasting the shit out of characters because all I hate them came home. I will go to the thing. Not be trusted in the way of the desert. Ah, yes, we love important lore. Playing while I'm in the middle of killing things. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Also, there's an achievement for one of these things called A Whole New World, and I want to have a strong talk to whoever at Mahoverse is having the time of their life. That's new. We've never seen that before. I don't think I'll be able to restore it. So I need a crocodile head, and then I need a sunrise. Mark sacred seals. How much you want? Oh my god. Wait. Of course, it's the fucking crocodile head that I need. The one bitch that I hate looking for. Wait, what? What? No reaction. Maybe there's some primal... Fuck. Some tablet. Elegant but incomprehensible text has been described. God damn it. God, no, you haven't. Fuck me. No. Just get the fuck out of here. I'm not dealing with this shit. Pit stop. Ow. You bitch.
식량, 주술, 윤량. 주술. 좀 쉬어.
Let me quickly switch out her. Put in Yoimiya.
축제를 열고 싶니?
Welcome in. I need you to light these for me. I found the fourth one. I'll take a nice chest for that. Didn't mean to press that. Oh cool, there's more. Why is that there? Oh. Of course it's up there. That's why the fuck would they make this any more easier to get? I also hate how I figured out way too fucking easily how to get that.
안에 뭐가 있을까?
Took me like a second. I was like, we're gonna figure this out later. Figures it out later. Alright, let's actually go do the story. Severe ADHD needs to shut the fuck up. You're too slow. Oh. Hey. Who the fuck are you? Oh. Now this is what we call by panic. Rubbish, you haven't beaten me since you taught me how to wrestle. You two get along well. See, people just start slinging money at each other moment met quite like this. Senior in my tribe, he's like an older brother and he's been a bad cult. Treats me like a brother. She didn't like hang out with the... She would treat me like a brother and we would get along better still if she didn't like hanging out with the ladies more. Good sir, that's a lesbian! Oh? Hey, quit it. Stop giving the wrong idea. Bestie, there is no wrong idea. You a fruity ass bitch. Take care of her, me. She's pretty good. She likes changing and danger like a wild cat. You're wrong, but I think this says something bad about me. You'll see. Oh, you'll see. I think I'll take care of her. Goddamn. By the fragments of the mother of Jin, we need an order. Queen of all oasis, if natural. Yep, what he said. The Seven direction, although it's called akin to breaking the seal, really. These annoying pillars of sand. Well! Oh god. Okay, gotcha. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. Time to explore. Fucking bet. Oh my god, why are we in another fucking temple? Like, no offense, I love exploring this shit, but just why? Why are we back? I thought we were done.
여기다.
Oh, good. More new mechanism. The temple is safe. I don't see any monsters or dangerous devices. Why the fuck are they red then? There's a big thing. How interesting. According to the archaeology report left by some people as well as the stone slates. Oh my god. Keeps the mother of Jin sealed from the basics. It's unlocked this side here. Funny, I don't see any rivers. Oh, knock it off. To repeat what you did. Let's crack the device. So it's a good fucking thing! Oh god. So it's a good thing I did every other fuck. The device hasn't responded at all. Did it not work? Maybe. Did she escape? Oh. You can use the elements, right? Why am I being summoned? Like us, we need to borrow the power of ancient divinity element are in. Well, if that's the case, so what about it? Why don't you try touching the big thing over there? What if it turns out to be super dangerous? We'll live. We have fought a god. We've touched all kinds of crazy in this path. You say that, but we've been cared for all the same. No, we have not. No, the fuck we have not. Start. Looks like the device earlier smoothed out the charging circuits. It looks like it's showing us. Suppose if we get the device, we'll be able to activate all 4 of these seal breaking. Hey, Paimon, show some fucking respect. No. Try one myself. Alright, enough to chat. Follow directions are given 3 devices. Alright, let's start over there. Intuitions, perhaps. Fine if we get lost, it's all in your head. Yes, I love how we're actually telling Paimon to shut the fuck up. Okay, cool. It's fucking hit it. Anyways, shut up. Ah, shit. We're going on a trip. Where? I hate that I figured that out.
품질은 나쁘지 않군.
I hate how easily I figured that out. Oh, would you look at that? Where is it?
소용없.
Oh fuck, I forgot I had
윤력, 주술,
I had Yoimiya.
지루해.
칭령, 윤력, 칭령.
소용없어.
What? What? They will be back. Shush. Hush.
주술, 칭령, 윤력.
Random theory. Just a random thought. Nope. Damn. Where the fuck is it then? Oh, well, fuck. Look for another exit. But sir, I'm still looking for a way for that fucking Oculus. They will be back. I need you to hush. Shush. Oh! Oh, fuck me, of course. Search the temple? Good sir, the fuck do you- oh god. Hey, that looked like a mighty fine chest. Oh, I did a bad vibe. I did a very bad vibe!
주술, 윤력.
Well, we found the pyro!
불 조심해.
Oh my god.
비명을 지르거라. 여기다. 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 무능하군.
Fuck, the thing went out. Where the fuck am I? Oh. Get off the wall.
이게
Ah, shit! My boy, no! Shush! The fish got this.
주술. 불꽃놀이가 보고 싶어? 자, 자, 따따따따. 야, 공부고가 왔어. 칭령.
Holy shit. I fucking knew it too.
재밌는 물건이라도 있어?
Red Vulture. Scavenger birds that work to transfer and body of use a corresponding element to attack, destroy these elemental blocks absorbed within them. Hi, you fucking my life.
좀 쉬어.
I knew it too. The second I saw it, I was like, wait a second. I hit it and I knew. What do you want? She will be back. You are just a whiny baby today. Shush. Did I get what I wanted from there? Yes, I did. Well. That is the first time I've heard Yoimiya laugh. Well. Alright, let's do a very quick character change. Let's bring the baby back.
시간이 됐나요?
Nope, you're fully ascended. I just need to level you up. Kind of forgot about that. I was talking with someone. I was like, oh yeah, I need to level up my my Ganyu. So I need to like go kill the flower. And then we looked and I was like, when the fuck did Ganyu?
소리가 돼요.
소용없어.
My boy, I'm so sorry. I just keep fucking murdering you.
주술.
Good. So stop whining. Yes. Except for 5 hours, because you know.
Yeah, but she doesn't run during that time. She doesn't want to use the bathroom.
I keep running into bad vibes. Oh, it's right there. Oh god, no, please, no. Doing fine. It's just puzzles I don't want to do. It's just puzzles and shit. There we go. Question is, how many Dendroculus do I have? We might have to make a pit stop. Do I have a free wish? I have 2 free wishes. I have 10. I have 10 Dendroculus.
Wow.
Very quick pit stop. Forgot to do this last time. Thrilling tales. Give me as many thrilling tales. You have to throw one on Mona. Because we've all come to the conclusion that Thrilling Tales is a book that is unnecessarily powerful. Where the fuck am I going? Gotcha. So you fucks are the puzzle I can change. Now that means, where the fuck's a normal puzzle? Listen, you are all cute as fuck. But I'm sorry that I have to very quickly strangle the fuck out of you. Also, I hate that I instantly already found one of the hidden belt of teleports. I was like, there's hidden ones. I'm sorry, but a sacrifice was needed. Picture time because I'm a stupid idiot who has ADHD and can't remember shit to save my life. Pit stop because I'll forget about this puzzle. Hell, I'll take a common test. Because I will take the Primo Gems. Yo, good sir, I need you to come break this. Fuck. I'll wait for it to come back. That's terrifying. That was cool, but terrifying. I didn't see Ganya, but she did like her little her burst thing. So I just saw the burst. Where the fuck did it go? Oh, hey. You need to break this for me. How the fuck did you miss? Oh. Damn, I'm so used to the ones that you can't hit. Shao, I love you, but what the fuck was that?
주술 윤력
We'll come back to that.
방해하지 마세요. 칭령 주술
Can I do a fun thing really quickly and just
소용없어.
접촉 금지 칭령 윤력
Why is God you low on health?
사라져라.
I don't care that both of you are invisible.
무능하군. 여기다. 무능하군.
There's nice crit damage I love to see. Ow.
윤력
소용없어.
This feels like death.
품질은 나쁘지 않군.
I will relight these in a little bit. That... What? Never mind, I'll pull out Yoimiya now, I guess.
축제를 열고 싶니?
Yeah, I had a feeling that was not gonna do much, but it was just like these are here. Nope, no, no. I could give less of a fuck about the- oh my god. I made damage, so it might have been unrest, even a war. I'm no researcher, so I couldn't read any patterns of the markings, but I doubt the fate of the temple was a peaceful one. The book says that it was destroyed by a searing fire and a great anger of the Jinn. The Jinn, perhaps, but it looks like the mob, soldiers, or perhaps even tribal people like us, but who knows. Think about it later. I think the big guy over here is a more pressing concern. Indeed. Perhaps other chambers or structures are like this one. Alright, I'll mark our path. Mark? Paimon didn't see you do that. We use scented oils used from Westnet Lure to paint the marks in the path we used to tread. So if you ever get lost, we're going to follow our nose to find our way back. Now, I'll have you know our wildcat nose is super sharp. We hunt. Stop saying all that stuff. Jesus Christ. Yeah, what's that? Well, it's the larva of a wellnet, sigh. Though often, I'm not actually sure how to explain what. Alright, tell you what, I'll explain more on the way back. We'll just keep that there for now. We going on a trip. Oh my god. Of course! All the fucking teleports are in the big fucking thing!
품질은 나쁘지 않군.
I hate these motherfuckers so much.
불 조심해.
I hate them so much. I hate them with an unnatural amount of my human beingness. Keep thinking she's gone you.
주술 윤리. 가자. 이거 뭐야?
소용없어.
God bless Miko shit. God bless it. I'm on the very edge of the domain. Fuck me. My bad. I know. Yada yada, that's gonna slideshows. Find another way. We know the way. Oh shit, we have a floor meeting in an hour. We have a floor meeting in an hour.
Oh, we do?
Yes. The notification just got sent out. Well, if we disappear for like 15 minutes in an hour, we'll literally just be out in the hallway. Kind of forgot that was today.
Yeah.
God, there is an ungodly amount of cryo shit here. No, fuck you. You have brought me. You bring me nothing but pain and fucking misery. So you can casually go fuck yourself. I hate these birds because they're fucking in, like, the Wanderer's fucking domain. So I have a hatred. Do I have enough to put that book back together? Just out of curiosity. Do I? Yeah, I'm not. That chest ain't worth it. Okay, so you're here. Which means there has to be one here. So I'm assuming...
이 물건들이
You know, I should be paying attention to the fucking,
관심 없어.
to, you know, to the text of all things, but I'm not. 'Cause again, as I said it before. We need to stop doing that. Where are you? There you are.
칭량.
소용없어.
At least everything's connected, and I'm not like not wanting to fight God. Hey, yo, I didn't mean to fall down here.
윤력. 주술. 좀 쉬어.
나자의 춤. 무능하군. 여기다.
Oh God, I just realized he's not Triple Crowned yet. But I have not seen this on Scaramouche yet.
슝.
I have not seen that damage on Scaramouche.
폭죽 재료가 있을까?
He's not gonna walk out of that fight alive. Yada yada yada, I know the drill.
윤력. 칭량. 걱정 마.
Oh, gamey bitch.
윤력. 주술. 칭량.
비명을 지를 거라.
Too tired. Where the fuck are they? I see one of you.
무능하군. 여기다. 무능하군. 소용없어.
It seems like the sand pile can't be removed. I'm not even trying to fight the sand pile. I'm just trying to kill these fucks.
주술. 윤력. 칭량.
It's about to be like, yeah, give it to me, go. The fuck is down here? I can't go that way. Never mind. Scratch that. We'll get that in a little bit. Yeah, once I get this last Oculus, we're gonna head to a statue just so I can put this in, because Jesus Christ. We're about to see that statue go zoomy. God fucking damn it.
주술.
God, I'm tired of fighting these things.
불꽃놀이가 보고 싶어?
I love looking over at my subtitles and seeing them be so fucking wrong. It's hilarious.
주술. 칭량. 응?
We're just gonna do this one now, make my life a little bit easier. We came through that way. Would you look? Oh my God. I said, God, please. God, please.
주술, 윤력, 칭 부탁해.
나자의 춤. 무능하군.
I just do not have.
무능하군.
Shush! I don't care!
여기다.
It seems like the Sampao cannot be moved in this manner. I don't give a fuck. The motherfucker's still alive. No, he's not. Yes, he is. It took one hit for me to kill him. One hit. Alright, let's see. What do we gotta do here? Gotta throw you the other way. Gotta throw you like that. Gotta push you open. Gotta do that, bitch. Gotta touch that. Hit her there. Now we hit this. One more time. Stop that. That opens that. Quick pit stop. Oh my god. When the fuck did I open this? We are so far. Oh my god. Why do I have a reputation reward in Sumeru? I meant to go to a statue, but I was just looking at that. We went all the way over there. Oh, good. We're in an area I have 100% completion. This game's like, why is this 100%? Hey, statue. Do you want to know how insane the Sumeru statue is? I'm level 7 and I need 10 more to level up. Who the fuck gave the statue this much power? I was gonna follow the domain, but we'll see how that goes. Right. I just need to unlock the last teleporter and then the thingamabobby, and then I have done my job. I've done my job and been a good noodle. And got all the teleports. No. 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 Why did I... What?
지령을 내려주세요.
Hi, welcome back on you. You ain't leaving. Not anymore. Just no.
주술, 윤력. 좀 쉬어.
소용없어.
접촉 금지.
That's why Ganyu's back. Can I touch it? Oh, is it a fucking... Oh my god. Oh, where are we going? Yeah, I'm chilling. Yeah, I'm alright. That's good, that's good. Shush. Since that too. 'Cause you fly. Shut the fuck up. Huge is bound to happen. Where's the chest? Oh!
여기다.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a fucking death trap, but I'll take the luxurious checks. Where the fuck am I going? Oh, we're going this way. Listen, I'm in a fucking... That's cool. I'm just in a place that everything looks the fucking same. Hey, yo, if that could be the crocodile head, you'll be saving me, like, so much fucking trouble. Shush, peasant. Someone asking stupid questions. There it is. Please be... Fuck. Yes, I'm stopping the game to look for this fucking thing. It's always the fucking crocodile ones that give me the most, like the crocodile head ones that give me the most fucking struggle. I've never had a What the fuck? What? What? Huh? Hey, thanks, I'll take that. You just hear so many different things are just going off.
방해하지 마세요. 칭령, 윤령, 부탁해.
소용없어.
He'll be fine. He'll live another day.
접촉 금지. 주술, 칭령, 주술.
여기다.
I fucking missed. Fuck. It was like, I know there's one nearby. Just where the fuck did it go? Hey, good sir. I'm not gonna have to go flying up the edge.
소용없어.
방해하지 마세요. 윤령, 칭령, 윤령.
thought I killed you.
칭령, 주술, 윤력.
Why the fuck do you all just keep respawning?
주술,
Alright, did an elderly person go to the other side?
너한테 쓸모가 있다면 됐어.
What furniture piece did I get? Ooh. I will actually take that. Fuck that, never mind. Let's actually continue back on our lovely journey. Of course. God damn it.
지루해.
No. 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 Just no. Look at this. More ruins. Great! I'll take care of the lesbian, don't worry. Is she taller than us? God fucking damn it! I hate these guys! Stop giving me these fuckers! That was the funny. Bye. Goodbye. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. Oh my god. No! Ah! Again, I usually don't run away from fights, but I fucking hate these guys to no extent. If you're telling me I don't get a fucking waypoint here, I'm actually gonna be offended. Cause I'm gonna forget this place is here. Are those the peaches? Oh my god, the peaches are here! Good sir, all I'm asking is a really pretty fucking, like, waypoint here. That's all I want. What? Why did you stop us? Looking for is just up ahead. Shh. Is that an Aranaya? Look behind you, we're not... No. Oh, god damn it.
윤력, 주술, 칭령. 걱정 마. 접촉 금지.
비명을 지르거라. 무능하군. 여기다. 여기다.
Oh, hey, would you look at that? Oh, hey, them got the same attack pattern on you, bitch.
무능하군.
Everything else got finished. Oh, no.
여기다. 지루해.
You son of a bitch.
방해하지 마세요. 주술, 칭령.
I'm literally just fighting a boss. Hey, yo, I'm 100%, you know, just, like, not here.
Why are you killing all
주술, 칭령.
walk off the cliff and
What?
no! Oh my god, he's really dead. He's dead. Are you killing child now?
주술, 칭령.
She just throw.
좀 쉬어.
We need to start climbing.
사라져라.
Stuff.
여기다.
Monster. Why are you killing my older two favorite.
여기다.
If you're wondering, it's the cat stepping on a controller. I
무능하고
thought you were talking about me. I was like, I'm not killing Al-Haytham.
무능하고
I'm killing something that, like, I'm killing a boss, but...
여기다.
She sent it to his death.
소용없어.
Check the shiny object, 100%. Shiny object? Fucking bet. Damn, I just said it looked pretty too. I want to explore this area. This is really pretty. Shiny. Of course there's fucking mints. Of course there is. Because why would there not be? I killed a frog. My bad, chief. Touch. What did we do? Why is there sand? What did I do? Oh, I fucking just made a hole in the... I killed it. I just killed it. I just killed it. Whoopsie. No doubt, no doubt. What shall we... the bottle can talk. You elf!
Oh, snap! I know something cool about that. There's a tutorial I was watching.
Explain.
No.
Mother. Bitch, I don't care about... I care about this because I have the lesbian. But please, do explain.
I was watching a tutorial and I was like, oh, that's a cool pet. Is that an event I missed? No, it's not. Apparently, it's not.
That's fun. I like you, girl. You know the rules. You met ticklish me. Yes, you amuse me. But step aside for a moment. I shall have a word with your lord only. Oh no, I know because you are a secret unknown species from afar. A steward girl of the Desert King and a flying pet. You must be a princess in exile. Are you not? I am, but. The fuck do you mean I am, but? What do you mean I am, but? I am, but what?
I mean, just casually got from there.
I saw it with the Aether, and I was like, excuse me? She's my friend. That's right. Isn't a lackey.
You want it?
I've also not heard any music. So I'm just like, it's just been silent. Dancing girl, lovely youth. Ayasha, a lovely beast. Oh! Died under the moonlight. Asha, all now played all their parts. Your lord? I mean, to entrust my name. Yes, I did once as a master. Comes into a shadow. You mean, wait a moment. Giving them their true names. It's a strong word. Wait. Do you hate a poison insect or a toad? Wicked spirit who oh! Damn! Oh, fuck. Ow, that hurt. My eyes took an actual screenshot. Who took the autofocus off my eyes? Once I rubbed my eyes, I took my glass off and everything turned really blurry. Friend, do you wish to reach... Huh? I have a reason for it. Because I like her. It's plenty likable, sure. It's strange. I like her for her scent. It's also her choice in servants and pet. Yet... Are your highness? But you... I asked. Tell you my true name. Ren. Don't worry about me. You say so. In your ear, you hear a soft chuckle, then a whisper, something unspeakable, elegant, and gentle into that ear. You are told of things unknown as the wind, but you are like a viper's kiss. We're bound. I shall defend you, my master, from... Oh! Gonna start floating around too. Unfortunately, yes. Great. So much time here already. How did that... Don't know, don't care, we're coming. Jet seems angry all of a sudden. Oh. Oh. Oh, yes. Okay, it's a lot easier. So it can increase visibility when in stantos and protect the oncoming of such weather. Because, you know, it's not like we're going to fucking hell. Why does it say 1? Why? I see that 1. Why does it say 1? Switch. No! It's fine. It's fine. I got rid of my bird, but it's fine. Yeah, why did it say, 1? Power. It's gonna increase over time, isn't it? We'll get those at the end. But I see you fucks over here. But I also see those. Are you the ones that are hittable? Yes, you are. So that means there's the actual ones somewhere over here.
품질은 나쁘지 않군.
Son of a bitch. I'm just fucking blind. I'm just blind. Oh, you bitches only appear for a certain amount of time. Fuck. Okay, cool. Got it. Got what I needed. We gotta video it because I'm a dumbass. Okay. I knew it! Alright. Quickly pulling out a Denjo character.
샘플 채취하러 가자.
The other ones are still locked, looks like it. Oh, you're right.
소용없어.
This is not gonna end well. Oh, you bitch. Okay. It's fine. Just gonna clear all of these out of the way. Didn't mean to do that, but okay. Oh, it's just these two. Okay, wait. Get the dogs. can't. Okay, never mind. I think you're the dots then. There we go. Okay, so you're the dots, and then I can't read which one you are from here. It's one that looks like a snake. Oh no, it's not here. Oh my god. I will just hit every single fucking one of these until this thing lights up. Which one are you? Fuck it. I'm just gonna hit all of them until one of them works. If there's just a way to turn you the fuck off. We've gone through every single fucking one of them. Good sir, there is nothing. Unless you want me to pull the power of Geo out of my ass, there's nothing there. Fuck it.
Okay.
Come on. You are getting on my last fucking nerves.
일할 시간이 됐나요?
Son of a bitch. It was the other way around. Where is he? There he is. Why the fuck is Kachin just vibing in this group of people? What the fuck? Oh no. Oh hell no. I don't got the grip for this. I don't got the grip for this. Hold that for me. Hey Shao.
여기다. 무능하군. 여기다. 무능하군. 무능하군.
부탁해. 윤력, 주술, 칭.
잘 안 보이지?
We don't got the grip for this. We don't got the grip for this.
윤력.
실각 이력 장끝쇼.
We are never doing that shit again. Oh my god, fuck that shit.
품질은 나쁘지
That was worth it. That was 100% worth it.
당신과의 계약에 따를게요.
Welcome back. No, my baby. I had to get rid of the clav retainer. Continue onward? Fucking bet. Can I have a waypoint, please?
소용없어.
Fuck! Yeah, get in the water. Crocodile head?
같이 다닐 파트너가 늘었.
Where? Huh? Good reason to stop us. It's like you to return the campsite first. Did you say anything else? She'd like to speak with you alone. Sorry, I didn't know you were in a bad mood. A bad mood nonsense. I've never been better, you know, having found a mother Jin after. Ah, shit. Oh, fuck, I fucked up. I fucked up. Please don't push me off the fucking edge. Reach our camp soon enough. What is it? Not much. I thought this child is quite interesting, that's all. Really, though? She's quite a temper. Just a bottle, is she? You mean to say she takes a bottle for her yardstick? Perhaps. Regardless, she's a good child. Trustworthy, if a little foolish. Ah, I like you already, my master. Coming from you, that's kind of scary. Why do I have a fucking... Good sir. Why the fuck have I required a bottle that calls me master?
당신과의 계약에 따를게요.
Go on. Fucking mint! I saw the chest, okay? Something is amiss ahead. Would you really want to pass this way then? It matters not. You take... What have you sensed? I'm sure my master. You discovered what might turn. Things and deeds. Oh, are we about to get fucking jumped? Prepare yourself. What did I say? I said bad vibes! Aren't... What did I say? I said bad vibes. I said bad vibes from the fucking start.
칭령, 윤령, 주술. 타자, 걱정 마.
You're fucking kidding me! Oh, hey, Mobby 2's here. I found the new enemy who's on the swing. I don't want to fight her.
너도 나와 같이 춤추고 싶니? 윤령,
She's too pretty.
소용없어.
Good sir, I'm a simp for pretty women who can kick my ass.
너 따위가
Oh, hey, thanks. Why the fuck is there mint here? Madam, I really don't want to fight you,
함께 춤춰볼까?
but the game requires me. I really wish that you were playable.
이건 시작에 불과해.
Oh, that's a snake! That's a full-on fucking snake! Faye would love you. I'm so sorry. Ray would 100% love you for the snake. Again, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to, you know, do that. You are very pretty. You are very pretty, and I am down bad.
여기다.
I plunged the wrong area.
얼음과 서리가 되어
Never forget the days that where I somehow glitched the game and Ganya would give me 2 of her flowers within the span of a couple seconds. What? Huh? Who? What? Where? Huh? Why? Oh, now the crocodiles are gonna fucking kill me. Ah, so all of you now just want me dead. That's good to see. Ow, you bitch.
좀더 버텨야
You bitch! You killed Ganyu! You fucker! Oh, I'm killing both of you with 0 hesitation now.
지루해.
방해하지 마세요. 부탁해.
Hold this for me. Now there's another one up here. Hey, friend.
의뢰는 반드시 완수한다.
윤력.
How would you like to fight two Adeptus? Token of friendship, Nikisha sent to me. Tainted tribe. This thing changes by its fucking emotions, I just realized. The fuck do you mean we don't need them in one piece? I saw it. Oh, you're joking me. Damn, I thought I was close to nope, I was completely fucking wrong. I'm nowhere near close to getting that book. Hey, bitch! I said there was bad vibes! I told you there was bad vibes, and I was fucking right!
쓸만한 샌드백이군.
Hey,
얼음과 서. 주술.
I could give less of a fuck.
걱정 마.
후퇴해야겠어.
How interesting. I'm going to murder so many people.
썬드백했군. 의뢰는
지루해. 소용아.
접촉 금지. 윤리.
I already saw the
주술.
Pathfinder earlier, so I already know all like the things behind that. He did a ragdoll effect. Outlandish traveler may be identified the golden hair, eyes of strange foreign clothes, and small floating fairy by their side. If they obtain the Jinn, take it from them, and they will yet to then dispose of them. Someone you know then. What did I say? I said bad vibes. Leave the cannon? Don't gotta tell me twice. Hello, Instagram. What do you want? Someone liked my photo. You don't gotta fucking tell me twice to leave this shit. Don't gotta tell me twice. Question is, random question. How much percentage? I have 24%. What the fuck? Who? What? Why? Why do I have 24% done? Listen, I've just done a story quest and I killed one boss. What? Where? Who? What? Why? Oh, fuck you. Ow!
주술. 윤리. 주술. 부탁해. 방해하지 마세요.
I fucking hate this fucker. Where is he? Fuck you, I need you anyways. You know what, let's go, hold up. Quick off track, we're following the Seelie. Cause I fucking forget to follow Seelies in this game all the time. Never mind, the Seelie wants me fucking dead! Eh? Fuck, really? Sorry, I just like doing these.
것만으로도 좋은 일이에요.
Time to go save my daughter. She decided to be an idiot and trust the wrong fucking people. You can just get the fuck out of my face. Why is there so many godforsaken fucking enemies? Don't get up. Just do not get up.
다음으로 해야 할 일은
It's fucking Dendro, isn't it? Yep.
얼음과 서리가 돼요. 금방 따라갈게요.
Give me the red scarf. Give me that, and I'll be on my way.
그들의 용도는 아니다. 관심 없어.
motherfuckers! I missed. I didn't miss. You! A bitch! Allow me to dust you off. Are waiting. Thank you so much. What? People hiding in a cannon waiting to intercept us. It's pretty scary too. Do you know what that was all that about? No. What could happen? Traitors and exile. What did you say? we had a hit in our fucking head by one of your men. Even signed his hand. Traitors. What if he's been set up? He's still stained our honor in his name. We will accept his punishment. However, he left the campus some time ago. Be sure that we will exile the traitor who will not be permanent back. She's with us. Oh my god. Cover all those names. Oh, I hate. Ooh, I hate that. Miss me, I'll country 3 with. She is a fucking genie. I hate that I knew that. I was like, wait a second. You're the mother of this tribe, right? My apologies. I read the Why does the lamp got beef with everyone? Many things indeed, my master. You hold my true name. I shall do and only what you desire. Shit. Do not we're fucking dead. Oh my god, everyone's just like, bro, the fuck is what is happening with this floor meeting? Someone just asked, did we miss it? No. The message wasn't even sent an hour ago. Nothing saves death. Nothing saves death. What the fuck? I understand. Start my rest. Yes. You have done well. Jin are arrogant. Oh my god. My expectation disease. Are you gonna fucking stab me after this? It's been made smoother, so please, Ren, if I do ask you, I will. I'll have my thanks. She has my one character design, like, ick. She has, like, my one character design ick.
What is that?
If she raises her arm again, I hate that when they have, like, the sleeves that go down, it's just filled in, so, like, the hand is just sticking out of the fucking just, like, solid color. Because Kazuha avoids it. Because he has it, but, like, there's still, like, enough shadow where you can, like, see the inside. Hers is just a solid color that's not shaded in. So it's like, her hand's just kind of sticking out of nothingness. Yeah, his has, like, the dimensions. Hers is just kind of there. Ugh. Sorry, it's an ick of mine. It bothers me. Ayaka doesn't have it. See, Miko's like the best example. She has this type of design, but with Miko, you can like see the shadow and like part of her hand. Her is just like block hand. Ew. All right, we got an hour. Oh my god, Miko's about to level up to 71. Whoopsie, my bad, Chief. Jet, my beloved, I'm so sorry I pissed you off. I didn't mean to. I talked to the wrong person. Oh, and we nighttime. I'm sorry, baby. It's been a while. Jet's really fond of you. We were just talking about you, in fact. What did you talk about? Are you still angry? Angry? Expressing her feelings. It was petty, childish. I knew how important, but I grew a chance of anyways. That's it, really, and she does some pretty creepy allegories, but she looks out for us the whole way. From the people we met so far, she doesn't... Isn't she, Jet? Well, I mean, I've always seen you as my ... best friend. I know you could take that in a sibling way, but shut the fuck up! She's gay!
No way. She does not say that.
But I'm just worried that sigh. Never mind. Again, I know this could go in the one way of her saying that like you're my sister, but again, gay. I'm just gonna be my happy little bisexual self that we actually got some representation.
No way.
That isn't gonna get erased like the one NPC! Like the one fucking NPC, if you use Nahida on and she'll say she likes someone, they fucking removed her. I don't know, I can't find the bitch.
Dude, Nahida, the moment she gets a rerun, I'm pulling for her. Cause that hasn't been leaked at all yet, right?
No.
A rerun?
No.
For Nahida? Because I can't do I'll Hate Them story quest until I get her. Because apparently, if you use...
Yeah.
You saw that?
Yep.
That's so funny.
I saw it.
That Kave's like freaking out, and I'll Hate Them's like, the books are just... I love them so much.
Yeah. I'm gonna be a petty bitch and I'm gonna pull her. I'm gonna take her out and just... I don't know why I sound like a monk.
Why I got a mean roommate?
The bottle is talking. Why? The bottle got emotion. Oh my god.
Getting bored.
Ooh. Watch my tongue if you were oh my god. Why?
It's angry. It's fuming.
The bottle.
Hi.
Why is the bottle angry?
What you looking at?
Actually, fuck. There's actually like a history of gin. Oh. Yep, I was right. They are a part of some religion. Feel for you. You did find Ben Ben cute. How do you treat like Ben Ben that talks? They both fly. Fuck you. Ben Ben was adorable. You were just a cunt. I need to put like a headphone warning in this. Because the amount of times I've grabbed this thing and just yelled at it. I have to trust you and I trust her. I hate that a white... Well, about that... So, Trader. The Fatui? Why are we doing shit with the Fatui? Why? Hold up. Why are we with the Fatui? Oh. See that you're so concerned about your friends. You know. Oh god. Exactly. What's a one nut?
baby. Hi, baby girl.
Not really. What's so funny? It's nothing. A child. Why? The lamp got beef with everyone! I'm all ears. Don't worry, I've covered my ears. And Paimon's covered hers. Wait, what are we covering my ears for? To like curses. Hey, do not interrupt me. Now, where should I begin? Oh! As moonlight paints over the white stone, fuck. I want. God damn it! I thought this was gonna be an animated scene. What the fuck happened? Bence told the desert head. Fuck. We, Jinn, are not ordinary creatures, but we are servants of the Mistress of Flowers. We're getting lore. You're untroubled by basic wants, nor are we shackled by material thirst. It was life itself was greatly fascinated us, the blooming and wilting of flowers, the gathering of scattering of birds, there are things that held us in thralls, far from what our true names could bind us. We are kept free so long as our mistress walks the earth, and we enjoy her eternal paradise, her loves, her comfort. Our tragedy would come, and our paradise crumbles as the mistress departs. Really turn to mourning, and it's just as good and lovely as violence perverted in anguish. Until we give Allah our true names and become his servants, for he promised us to find an eternal companion, one true master. Delude hope and trust that we harbor our hearts and forsook our freedom and accept imprisonment within silver bottles and servitude to his realms, but was lost forever, never to return. But not think the jinns were once done servants. Our true love bordered upon madness could think of jinn to give their true names willingly. For their deep love for the mistress of flowers that drove them to embrace the desert from the first. Yet walking the face of tomfoolery and this barren word comes a true jinn to fall in love with the shepherd. Ah, you're awake. A shepherd. Not you, no, huh? But much like you, my master. Well, girl, that makes you jealous. Definitely not. She's quite Your Honor, she's gay. Because she was talking about how like the jinn fell in love with a man.
Uh-huh.
She goes, "Are you jealous?" Her response, "Not in the slightest." Say whatever. Your Honor! The jinn love was a terrible chain, driving those who fell. Pity sack. That again with the scary analogs. We jinn do not have this tender thing you call shame. We do not shy away from discussing love irrelevant to all lovers. I'm suddenly glad that you're just a bottle now. But to the jinn, mad love cannot reckon on hell, or else the hatred and vengeance 3 times greater than it would fall. The roots of different tale. Actually, now that you mention it, I'd like to ask a question. Do you really have no other goal in presenting your true name? Suppose vigilance is wisdom. Which is something I seek. I wish it to go to the eternal relations, just as you do. So I left infinite. What those might be. Forgive me, dear master. I can only slowly tell you tales of our journey proceeds, but time for that is not to come. But know this, in good fortune, that I should meet you. Well, since we have the same goal, shall we get along? How about the toast? And shall we make a toast with me? Yeah. Alright, weird story time over. Let's talk about something where I like. Do you play cards? I don't. Bullshit! Right then. Pastimes we've chosen. That's so. Well, let's talk about some things we've seen then. You all speak about the interesting you've heard about, as well as the hair-raising adventures you've been through. Some absolutely Dixon hearsay is even mixed in. Three of you raise a toast to our triumphs, laugh at ridiculous tales, and shed tears, and lemma at sad stories. At the end, closes the ceiling with a joke, and he absolutely kills it. The moon sank high as Isakura tells a rather coarse joke about a crocodile and a shepherd beast, which loses his blanket-sharing privileges. Jet tells you about the many trivial but funny things. A light sense of spice is wafted from her. It seems that you all the story she is telling your last parting seems to tinge with the sadness. The night follows you as you chap. As the next morning comes, you are buried in each other's pillows asleep by the exhausted flames. I want fan art of that. Also, it's still nighttime on my screen. Do you sleep? Not bad. Thanks for asking. Strange metaphor about bugs and scorpions. Took Paimon half the night to get them out of her head. Glad you guys got them. I sure didn't. And who asked you to get up in the middle of the night to go find... She came to find me. What did she want? It's an urgent thing. Some matters concerning the elders and tribes, you know. Oh, I see you. In secret. Spoke with me last night. We must issue next tunnel to the underground portion of the Eternal Oasis. Indeed, my master. about to see the sandstorm get erased from the map, aren't we? Oh, Jesus Christ. It's just the rest of the detail. Alright, follow me! Follow me, baby gays! Damn, that fortune teller from the Archon Quest was fucking right! We just pulling people left and right! I still love that. The best part is it's different fucking dialogue. So you have Aether, she's not as flirty. You arrived, I hope our hospitality hasn't disappointed you. I shall entrust a great task of apprehending the traitor to you. I expect that the recent spike in traitors within the tribe has something to do with those who hail from the Snowland. You mean the Fatui? The Fatui, everyone spread here? Just like those toads. Or centipedes keeps talking about, we're running from everywhere we go. A merchant under the banner of trade, so long they started meddling in our affairs and annoying us. Harming our people. What do you want? Shush, TikTok. Return with additional information from Lake and format a new. I understand. We are not the important of today's conversation. Ren, the task I blade to you, I believe that has already gone the broad strokes with you. Indeed. Good, then I must warn you, still have house ahead of frightened with dangers. Our scouts are just close signs that many may be active in the areas. Yeah, what the fuck are they about? Dangerous creatures, approach them with caution, they may attack you upon drawing. Speak not of me as if some matter of calamity, desert wretch. Defend you, I've got your back too. Why does this lamp got beef with everyone? Oh shit. The bookers researched apart from the merchant camp of the maps they brought with them. These are tricks of old trade for I understand. Haha. Thank you for granting me the boon of knowledge I shall lead towards an orb memory and power. Both I'll be watching you, the lads of yours. Make sure I lay my parents to rest. How could you slander her like that, Jet? My apologies. I and your misgivings, and I will endure to win your trust. Do as you will. I seek rich. Very well. Do not. This lamp got beef with everyone, but I feel like this lamp is gonna keep us fucking alive. I swear to God. Oh! Would you look at that? Beauty about me being a bitch and getting all the teleports! Woo! Oh, hell no. Hell no. Why? Huh? Oh, I somehow went in the right direction. Yeah, no, I'm not fighting an Abyss Mage right now. Absolutely the fuck not. Why would you tell me that? Defeat all opponents? Oh, you're fucking me!
주술 윤력
소용없어.
방해하지 마세요.
Yes! We're back to fighting! I miss fighting with my lesbian.
당무로 해야 할 일은
Ow!
칭령 윤력 타자
Bro, there's an unnecessary amount of shit I gotta deal with right now.
소용없어.
Oh, of course, there's more of you. Because why would they not be?
칭령 주술 칭령
Bro! Spare me but fucking an ounce of pain!
윤력
사라져라. 무능하군. 여기다.
Jet just got fucking
무능하군.
hit.
여기다.
금방 따라갈게요.
My God. Should be right. Let this progress. I can do desert alone. Don't get eaten. We're going on a trip. Nope. Fuck it. Go. Ooh, this part of the desert got good music.
여기다.
Oh. Do you really want to do this? Good. Leave. Fuck. Ahead of us. Campsite? Chin comes, however, I perceive they've never made an outcast because such of this is place marked as forbidden for a matter of practice and not terrorized due superstition. With regular abhors, it was, oh my god. I'm getting bad vibes. We were ordered to find a path to the internal oasis, and it seems like we're finally getting some results, but the Pillars Place investigation team has taken serious losses. Our material transport line has been cut by storms. We have run out of food. Perhaps we can capture some nearby wed nets to feed ourselves. The hunting party was sent as lost to Samson. We cannot risk sending out anywhere. People ran out of water. Bled our senses beat. Scouts are still searching for a way. We can only leave our fate to the sleeping mistress of the oasis if she exists at all. Oh my god, she sent these people here to die. I'm gonna say this the nicest way as possible. This bitch sent people to die. We have a meeting in literally 14 minutes. Fuck. It's gonna be under me. Oh hey, yeah, make my life a little bit fucking easier. She sent people here to die. Yeah, that's probably gonna be under me. And fuck investigate. It is, though I really do want to activate without thinking it through. I feel like we continue. What if it's dangerous? It's water pumping use. Sure. Oh, yep. The Oculus is under us. Damn, those leftovers are strong. What? Oh, hi. Sorry, they're just so easy to do now.
곡물 상자를 남긴 사람도 어떤 계약을 따른 걸까요?
I swear to God, if it's a scorpion.
소용없어.
방해하지 마세요.
Okay, so I've only activated one of them. God damn it, game. You're getting on my nerves. Aren't you the little one here? I see a little... Where the hell are you going?
품질은 나쁘지 않군.
No, that's the correct way. The fuck? Oh. I love unironically accidentally starting shit.
지루해.
얼음과 서리가 식량, 주술. 재밌는 물건이라도 있어?
Fuck.
방해하지 마세요. 식량, 주술, 윤력. 가자. 걱정 마.
나자의 춤. 무능하군. 여기다.
금방 따라갈게. 얼음과 서리가 주술, 식량, 윤력. 부탁해. 방해하지 마세요. 식량. 접촉 금지.
Well, that was a waste of my time. No, I don't care. Where are you? Nope, time to go. Why is it under the sand? Dig it out. I gotta look for a fucking mechanism, god damn it. What? Oh, you're fucking lying to me? Oh, unironically doing shit.
금방 따라갈게요. 어른과 좀 쉬어. 윤력, 주술, 윤력.
지루해. 소용없어. 비명을 지르거라. 여기다. 무능하군.
Oh, I found a way. Fuck my ever-ending life. I don't even mean to do this shit, and it just happens. If you could just, I don't know, fall in the hole, that would be greatly appreciated.
칭령.
Hey! Okay. Why?
칭령.
소용없어.
접촉 금지.
날 방해하지 마.
Door open faster. Door open faster, please. I gotta be out in the hallway.
너한테 쓸모가 있다면 됐어.
Where the fuck is the Oculus? Can you get the fuck out of my face? Oh, I see it. I saw it. Where the fuck did it go? Ah. It is like stupidly above me. Floor meeting time. We'll be back. I already started talking.